claimed the city. There was a stretch of time that belonged to no one, a narrow space between intentions. The night held on to its dim light, not fighting, not surrendering. And the piano played like it trusted where the silence would land. I stayed seated with my coat nearby, coffee gone cold in my hands, watching the clock behave politely, never pushing me forward. The bass walked its familiar line, steady enough to lean on, and the brushes brushed away urgency, leaving only what remained. I thought about all the mornings I'd tried to outrun, believing daylight was where answers lived, where purpose began. But before daybreak, nothing needed explanation, nothing required momentum, and that felt unexpectedly kind. Smoke drifted upward one last time, then chose to vanish completely, and the room stayed exactly as it was, balanced, unremarkable, whole. The piano returned to a chord that didn't promise or resolve, and the quiet felt earned. Before daybreak finally took over, light pressing gently against the windows, I stood up calmly, carrying the calm with me, ready to let the day arrive without taking this away. Night moves slowly when it knows it has time, when nothing is chasing it from behind. The room loosens its shoulders and the clock forgets to perform. Snow presses lightly against the glass, each flake choosing patience over proof, and the piano opens a thought it doesn't intend to finish. I stay seated longer than necessary, not out of hesitation, but because the moment hasn't asked me to become something else. The bass walks underneath everything, steady as a promise that doesn't speak, and the brushes soften the edges of time, sweeping away the urge to rush. I've lived whole years believing emotion was the same as meaning. That stillness meant I'd missed my chance. But tonight, night moves slowly, and nothing feels delayed. Smoke curls upward, then lets go of its shape, leaving the air exactly as it was. And I stopped trying to read signs in everything that fades. The piano returns again and again to a place it trusts, never insisting, never resolving, just checking in. Outside, the city lowers its voice, sirens thinning into memory. Inside, the night feels balanced, like it knows when enough is enough. When night moves slowly like this, I don't feel behind, I don't feel ahead, I feel placed. Morning will arrive with sharper light, with its questions and clean lines. But for now, the night stays generous, letting me remain exactly here. Before morning took over the city, there was a stretch of time that belonged to no one, a quiet interval between demands. The night held on to its dim light, not fighting, not surrendering, and the piano played like it trusted where the silence would land. I stayed seated longer than necessary, coffee cold, coat nearby, watching the clock behave politely, never pushing me forward. The bass walked its familiar line, steady enough to lean on, and the brushes brushed away urgency, leaving only what remained. I thought about all the mornings I've tried to outrun, believing daylight was where answers lived, where purpose began. But before morning took over, nothing needed definition, nothing required momentum, and that felt unexpectedly kind. Smoke drifted upward one last time, then chose to vanish completely, and the room stayed exactly as it was, balanced, unremarkable, whole. The piano returned to a chord that didn't resolve or promise and the quiet felt earned. With plans, didn't ask it to hurry when light finally pressed against the windows. Soft and unsure, I stood up calmly, carrying the calm with me, ready to let morning do what it does, without taking this with it. When the night slows down enough to notice itself, the room seems to breathe a little easier. The walls stop listening for footsteps, and the clock learns how to wait. Snow leans into the windows without urgency, each flake choosing its place carefully. And the piano opens a sentence it has no intention of finishing quickly. I sit with my coat still on, not because I'm cold, but because I'm not ready to change states just yet. The bass moves underneath everything, steady as a thought you trust, and the brushes soften time itself, sweeping away any reason to rush. I've spent so much of my life trying to arrive somewhere else, believing motion meant intention, believing speed meant clarity. But when the night slows down, nothing asks me to improve, nothing asks me to explain why I stayed or why I left. Smoke curls upward, then forgets its shape, leaving the air exactly as it was. And I realize how many moments I've tried to hold too tightly. The piano returns to a familiar place, not repeating itself, just checking in to see if I'm still here. Outside, the city's is like it knows how much is enough. When the night slows down like this, I don't feel behind, I don't feel ahead, I just feel place. Morning will come eventually, with its sharper edges and questions. But for now the night stays generous, letting me sit inside it without asking me to instruction without knocking on the door. It slipped between the ticking seconds and settled on the floor. Snow outside softened every line, street lights dimmed their tone, and the piano played like it was content to be alone. I sat inside the kind of silence that doesn't feel like absence, listening to the bass explain patience without sounding anxious. Brushes brushed the night into balance, rounded off every edge, and the moment didn't ask me to make a pledge. Just to feel how often I avoided quiet because it made things real. But this one felt forgiving, felt steady, felt kind, like it wasn't trying to take anything, only give me time. Quiet stayed longer than expected, never checking the clock. The piano returned to its center, the bass refused to stop. Nothing dramatic happened here, nothing broke or grew, and somehow that was everything I needed it to do. I stood up gently, letting quiet follow my feet. After the noise was gone, after the glasses cleared away, the night stayed seated comfortably, in no hurry to leave or say anything more than it already had, with a single held note. And the piano leaned into that space where meaning floats. I stayed after the moment passed, after the reason faded out. Watching the bass keep walking calmly without needing a route. Brushes softened what remained, left nothing sharp behind. And the silence felt fuller than anything I could define. I've always rushed toward what comes next, afraid of staying too long. But after felt different tonight, like a place I belong. Smoke curled once more into the lamplight, then chose to disappear. And I didn't chase it for answers or clarity or fear. After didn't ask me questions, didn't expect a change. It just held the space between things and called it range. The piano rested without ceremony. The room stayed warm and true. And I learned how much peace exists in what comes after you stop trying to move. When daylight finally made its claim, tapping softly on the glass, I stepped forward quietly, bringing after with my past. Still was the word the night kept choosing, even when the clock refused to slow. The room stayed wrapped in half-light, letting every shadow grow. Snow leaned gently against the window, soft enough to feel like thought. And the piano played a line that sounded like it knew what stillness taught. I sat without an agenda, hands warming around an empty cup, listening to the bass move carefully, never rushing to catch up. Brushes swept the edges of the moment, kept it smooth, kept it clean. And I realized how rare it was to let life stay in between. I used to think still meant stuck, meant waiting too long to act. But this quiet felt intentional, felt honest, felt intact. Smoke lifted slowly toward the ceiling, then disappeared without a sign. And I stopped trying to translate every feeling into time. Still was the night's only answer, and it felt like enough. No lesson delivered loudly, no demand to be tough. The piano returned to a resting place, not ending, not begun. And the silence the street, turning snow to pale gray. I carried that stillness with me, letting it shape the day. Witnesses that night, no one watching, no one counting. The clock kept its quiet rhythm without announcing. Snow fell evenly without ambition, each flake finding its place, and the piano leaned into a phrase that didn't need a face. I listened to the bass walk underneath every thought I didn't say, steady as a reminder that time finds its way. Brushes whispered something forgiving, not enough to quote, and the moment felt softer than in any note. I've marked my life with louder hours, deadlines, names, and proof, but here time moved without witnesses, untouched by truth. Smoke rose, then settled nowhere, no message left behind, and I stopped trying to shape the night into something defined. Time moved without witnesses, and I let it pass. No need to document the moment, no need to make it last. The piano returned to a simple chord, resting without regret, and the silence felt whole, not empty yet. Outside, the city prepared for morning, windows starting to glow. Inside, I learned how little control I actually know. When daylight finally reached the room, snow thinning into gray, I walked forward quietly, carrying a night no one saw slip away. And I didn't close the door behind me, didn't hurry me out into the cold. It stayed open just long enough to let the quiet hold. Snow rested gently on the pavement, streetlights softened every sound, and the piano played like it understood why I stayed around. I sat there longer than planned, hands folded, coffee gone, listening to the bass explain patience without moving on. Brushes brush the edges of the moment, kept it smooth, kept it kind, and I felt the pressure loosen in the back of my mind. I used to believe that leaving meant strength, that staying too long meant doubt, but the night didn't judge my stillness, didn't call me out. Smoke curled into the lamplight slowly, then vanished without a trace. And I realized how rarely I let a moment keep its own pace. The night didn't close the door, didn't ask me who I'd be. It just stayed present and allowed me to sit honestly. The piano circled back to a resting place. No flourish, no display, and the silence felt complete enough to let me stay. Outside, the city shifted carefully, livery trucks humming low. Inside, the night stayed balanced, didn't push me to go. And morning finally reached the street, soft through the snow and gray. I stepped forward calmly, grateful the night didn't close the door that way. What stayed after the music wasn't silence exactly. It was something warmer than sound, something intact and steady. The piano let its last chord rest, didn't rush to say goodbye, and the bass held the room together long after the note had died. Snow kept falling outside the window, uninterested in applause. And I sat with my hands in my pockets, no need to pause. The brushes stopped without ceremony, no flourish, no sign, and the moment felt complete without a line. I've been afraid of endings before, thought they erased what came before, but this one simply opened space I hadn't noticed anymore. Smoke drifted thin across the light, then chose to fade, and I let the night exist unedited, unafraid. What stayed after the music was a sense of being held, not by words or melody, but by something I'd felt. The room remembered every note without repeating a thing, and I learned how presence works when you stop listening for meaning. I thought about conversations unfinished, roads I didn't follow through, about how often I confused explanation with something true. The piano lid closed quietly, no protest, no regret, and the silence didn't feel empty, it felt set. What stayed after the music was enough to last the night, enough to walk with me into morning without losing its light. When the city began to wake itself, sirens cutting through, I carried what stayed after the music, wake something finally true. Before I let the night go, I listened to it carefully, not for advice or answers, just for how it spoke to me. Snow pressed softly into memory, street lights dull and kind, and the piano moved slowly like it didn't mind. I stayed seated longer than necessary, coffee cold, coat nearby, watching the clock behave politely as the hours passed me by. The bass kept walking under everything, steady, low and sure, and the brushes smoothed the edges of thoughts I couldn't cure. But the night didn't judge me for resting. It stayed clear. Smoke lifted once more into the light, then chose to end. And I let the moment finish itself without trying to bend. Before I let the night go, I thanked it silently for not pushing me forward, for letting me be. The piano returned to a resting place. No drama, no insistence, and the quiet felt earned, not distant. Outside, the first signs of morning hesitated at the street. Inside, the night loosened its hold. Without retreat, I stood up slowly, unafraid, nothing left to show, and stepped into the day, carrying what I learned before I let the night go. Didn't ask me back that night, didn't question where I'd been. They moved forward carefully, like they'd already let me in. Snow leaned against the corners of the street, softening every line. And the piano played a phrase that felt unconcerned with time. I sat with the last warmth of the evening, lamplight low and thin, listening to the bass explain patience without calling it discipline. Brushes move like cautious hands, never rushing the beat. And I felt the night slow itself down, just enough for me to breathe. I used to chase the next moment hard, thinking stillness meant delay. But nothing in this room was waiting. Nothing needed to be on its way. Smoke lifted like a thought half finished, then chose to disappear. And I realized how often I'd mistaken urgency for being here. didn't check what I'd become. They let me sit inside the quiet without proving where I was from. Ariana returned again and again to a place it trusted most, and the room felt full enough to hold a ghost. Outside, the city shifted quietly, delivery trucks whispering past. Inside, the night allowed the present to stretch beyond the past. I thought about the years I'd edited, the parts I tried to hide, and how little any of that mattered sitting here tonight. The hours didn't ask me back, they just kept going on. And when morning softened the windows and the dark was gone, I stood up slowly, unafraid, no resolution in sight, carrying a calm I learned from hours that didn't need me back. Night, night. No urgency lived in the room that night. Nothing leaned forward, nothing pulled at my sleeve. The clock kept its distance, ticking softly like it didn't want to interrupt what was happening. Snow gathered outside in careful layers, not decorating the street, just covering it gently, as if protection mattered more than me. I sat with the lights turned low, not trying to create a mood, just letting the room decide for itself. The piano opened slowly, one chord leaning into the next, not searching for resolution, only for honesty. The bass moved underneath everything, steady, unremarkable, the kind of motion you trust, because it doesn't ask to be noticed. I've lived so much of my life believing speed meant relevance, that if I wasn't moving towards something, I was losing ground. But this night refused to rush me. It didn't ask where I was headed, didn't offer directions, didn't even suggest improvement. It simply stayed. Smoke rose once, then again, each time losing its shape sooner, as if it understood that nothing needed to last forever. To be real, I thought about all the nights I filled with intention, not repeating, just checking the balance. Outside, the city lowered its voice, sirens thinning into memory. Inside, the room felt complete, as if it had everything it needed. The moment I stopped asking for more, no urgency followed me when I stood. No lesson announced itself. Morning would come, of course it would, with its sharper lines and obligations. But I carried something quieter with me, the understanding that not every moment needs to be pushed forward, that sometimes the most honest thing you can do is let time move on its own. Before the city woke, there was a stretch of hours that belonged to no one. No headlines waiting, no schedules tightening their grip, just the night holding its shape a little longer than usual. Snow softened the streets until even memory felt padded, and the piano played like it wasn't trying to be remembered. I stayed where I was, hands wrapped around a cup that had already gone cold, listening to the bass trace a path that didn't need direction. Brushes moved like careful hands, sweeping away sharp edges, rounding off the corners of time. Nothing in the room was trying to sell me a future. Thought about the mornings I'd forced myself into, believing daylight was where purpose waited. But before the city woke, nothing demanded intention. I wasn't late, I was exactly where the night allowed me to be. once more, then disappear completely, no message left behind. The piano leaned into a chord that didn't resolve, didn't promise, didn't explain. It simply stayed long enough to be felt. I realized how rarely I let moments exist without translating them then to something useful. Outside the first signs of motion, a distant engine, a light switching on, tested the edge of silence inside. The night loosened its hold without resistance, like it trusted I'd carry what mattered. The bass slowed, not stopping, just breathing. Before the city woke, I learned something quiet, that beginnings don't always announce themselves, as meaning doesn't always rise with the sun, that sometimes the most honest hours are the ones no one sees. I stood up gently, not wanting to disturb anything, and stepped toward morning with a calm I didn't earn, only receive. Before anything began, before the city remembered its name, there was a stretch of hours that belonged to no one. The night held its shape carefully, not resisting change, not inviting it either. Snow softened the streets until even memory felt muted, and the piano played like it knew this wasn't a moment to decorate. I stayed seated, hands resting where they fell, listening to the bass explain patience without turning it into advice. The brushes moved lightly, sweeping the edges of time, not erasing anything, just smoothing what didn't need emphasis. Nothing in the room asked me to prepare. I've always thought beginnings announce themselves, that you could feel them coming like a shift in the air. But before anything began, there was only presence, no direction, no promise, just the quiet agreement between sound and silence to share the space evenly. Smoke lifted once more, then decided not to finish the thought. The piano leaned into a chord that didn't resolve, didn't signal an ending, didn't point ahead. It stayed long enough to be felt, then stepped back. I realized how often I'd mistaken clarity for truth. Outside, the city tested its voice, a distant engine, a single light flicking on. Inside, the night loosened naturally, like it trusted I'd remember what mattered. The bass slowed, not stopping, just breathing differently. Before anything began, I learned something simple, that moments don't need labels, that meaning doesn't require movement, that some of the most important hours happen quietly, without witnesses. I stood up gently, not wanting to disturb anything, and stepped toward morning, carrying a calm that hadn't been earned, only allowed. Night without rush settles into the room like it has nothing scheduled next. No place it needs to be, no future it has to impress. The clock keeps ticking out of habit, not obligation, and the walls stop listening for footsteps that never come. Snow rests against the windows, not trying to get inside, just staying close enough to be felt. I sit with the lights turned low, coat folded over the chair, Not because I plan to leave, but because I might not. The piano opens a slow conversation, one chord leaning into the next, never pushing for resolution, never apologizing for space. The bass moves underneath it all, patient, grounded, like it's been here before, and knows how long things take. I've spent years believing urgency was a sign of being alive, that if I wasn't moving forward, I was somehow moving wrong. But this night doesn't measure me, it doesn't ask what I've done or who I plan to become. It just keeps breathing, steady and unbothered, and invites me to do the same. Smoke curls upward, loses its shape halfway, decides not to explain itself. I think about all the moments I tried to trap with meaning, all the nights I rushed through because I thought stillness was something to fix. Here, stillness feels deliberate, almost generous. Outside, the city lowers its voice, sirens thin into memory inside. The piano returns again to a place it trusts, not repeating, just checking in. The night feels balanced, like it knows exactly how much is enough. Night without rush doesn't promise clarity, it doesn't offer change or redemption. It offers time without pressure, space without demand, and the rare permission to sit inside a moment without turning it into a story. When morning finally presses against the edges of the glass, light unsure of itself, I stand slowly, carrying something quiet with me, not an answer, not a plan, just the calm that comes from a night that never asked me to